Hi, everyone. We're going to talk about the three circles, the unit circle, the nav circle, and the surveying circle. So we have these in class, but just want to make sure that everyone gets clarity on these because it's the basis of everything we're doing for a little bit. So here's our slide from class. This would be considered a navigation compass. This would be considered a survey compass. We'll talk about how they differ from one another. One thing to note is, and I always forget to mention it in class, so the speed, 1 knot when you're in a boat or in an airplane, 1 knot is a nautical mile. So, or a mile per hour, where the mile is a nautical mile. The mile per hour, basically a nautical mile is a little longer than a mile, but think of it as mile per hour. When you're doing your calculations, think of it as it's a speed, it's miles per hour. So let's talk about the three different, well, we'll set up the three circles side by side. Let me do a little different share with you and see how this works. Okay. So this should come in, I hope. Here we go. Okay, so here's our three circles. I can just draw on these. We're going to consider this like your unit circle, like you've always had before. This one will be your navigation circle that an airplane or a ship would use. And this would be the survey circle that we use in describing land. So the unit circle always has 0 degrees here and works counterclockwise. That's how we've been counting degrees in the unit circle since the early part of the year. 0's here, 90's here, 180's here, 200 or 210 is here, etc. The navigation circle works differently. Instead, 0 is here, and it moves counterclockwise. We would tend to call this north. So 0 would be north, and 90 degrees would be east, and 180 degrees would be south, etc. And the survey circle works differently. This we call north, this we call south, this we call east, and this we call west. And instead of going in one direction from one place, from north we go towards east or towards west, and from south we go towards east or towards west. I'll show you how that works in a minute. Let's take an example of degrees on the unit circle of 30 degrees. You know where 30 degrees is on the unit circle. I just drew it in. That same position here on the nav circle, we would have to count from north and get to the same spot. In order to get to this exact ray from north, we would have to go 60 degrees. So we're going to call that 60 degrees on the nav circle. It's the exact same location. The same location here on the survey circle, we would start with north and we would go this direction towards where the line is, and we would have to travel 60 degrees to get there. So this would be north 60 east. North 60 degrees east is the way we would write that in the survey circle. Okay, let's try another example. You'll get this after a couple of quick examples. On the unit circle, let's say we went from our 0 and we went all the way, not quite to 270, but only to 260. So that would be 260 degrees. Now, that same ray on the navigation circle, you would have to get there from 0, and you would go past this south line. You would go from north all the way to east through south and all the way 10 degrees more, right? Because this is 10 degrees over here. So 10 degrees more than down here at 180. So this would be 190. So 260 on the unit circle is 190 on the nav circle. And that same location on the survey circle would be here, just a little bit off of south. So instead of going from north in a certain direction, we're going to start from south in a certain direction because it's one of these lines that's in, well, what we used to call quadrant 3 or quadrant 4, anything below this east-west line. So this is going to be south. We always do south or north first. south. We're going to go from south 10 degrees towards the west. All right. So 260 on the unit circle is 190 degrees on the navigation circle, is south 10 degrees west on the survey circle. Let's do one more. Let's do pi, also known as 180 degrees. So 180 degrees on the unit circle would be due west, right? Navigation would be due west. Well, on the navigation circle, we could call that 270 degrees. On the survey circle, we only refer to it as due west. You're not ever going to use north 90 degrees west or south 90 degrees west, because that would be redundant. They're the same thing. You're just going to say due west. So 180 degrees on the unit circle is 270 on the nav circle, is due west on the survey circle. So that's it for sharing on that. I hope that helps and clears things up. And we'll see you later.